8th of June, so only a couple of days left, and it will be into July. And I was desperate at the end of May, beginning of June, as to the successes that are going to happen in any of the gardens. The slugs seem to have taken a dominant role in the running of the garden. But things have changed, and there have been successes, I'm glad to say. You'll see these in the video. Things have changed around. Maybe a change of emphasis, maybe a change of philosophy, but on the whole, the gardens are looking greener and much more healthy than they were. So I suppose there are some successes after all. Anyway, enjoy the video.
It's the 1st of June and the massive growth spurt of May has caught up with me. The lawn is like a hayfield. The vegetable beds have suffered the neglect as well. My task then was to bring this back under control. The lawn was mowed and the weeding done. Once again the herb garden looks tidy with the lavender coming into flower. The onions seem healthy enough and are swelling well. Alas, the broad beans were savaged by slugs, and the only cabbage left is a poor testimony to my ability to garden. The runner beans, replanted, may survive. A work colleague suggested trying bran to beat the slugs. In a tray, covered to protect it against the rain, is a pile of bran. I'll report back later to see the result of this experiment. Finally, I put out some carrots grown in kitchen tubes and put directly into the soil in these troughs. They too have been protected by bran. But the black currant fruits are setting. The raspberries are in blossom and the loganberries have started to bear fruit. I'll be harvesting them in August to make next year's batch of jam.
It's a very windy day in June. It's the first week in June. A nice sunny day and very warm. And these pears are really developing now. The strawberries are looking very green and healthy at the moment. Need a lot of watering and probably a little bit of the old worm tea on there to help them come along. But they're looking good. I can't see any blossom on there yet, so maybe there'll be a later batch. Okay, here we have some courgettes. Now the plan is that as they grow, we'll take out the bottom leaves, and as the courgettes start to develop, take the leaves behind them, and we'll have them growing up the stem. We'll have to put a bigger stick in than that, I think, but that looking good. Over here, in the 3 buckets, we've planted some tomatoes. Some people have got their tomatoes developing already. It seems to me that we're a little bit late on that one as well. Coming over here, slight modification to the grow bag. Here you can see lots of sticks to brace each other up. Okay, there's some more tomatoes, and there'll be beefsteak, I think. Down this little stretch here, we have the fabric down on the ground. There were strawberries that had grown over from the square foot garden. Now the strawberries are now into the pots, and here we are. Here's the one of the enemies of the garden, the pet cat. This is Skimpy. and she can be a rogue, a lovable rogue. So whatever we do, she'll manage to undo it for us. Here's an example. Down here you can see another strawberry plant, and in here, carefully sown in there, are some little flowers. Now I'm not responsible for flowers, but my other half is. We've had to protect it with the netting here, because she digs them up. Oh, wonderful! There's a bee. There's a bee. There's a bee. There's a bee. I love bees. Where's he gone? There he is, somewhere over there. Oh, right, he's gone. Still there. Stay long enough to get a picture of him. Never mind. Over to you, Skims. What do you reckon? Don't care. And in this bucket, plunged into the ground, there's another courgette, and the same idea will occur, that we will grow the courgette upwards and cut away the leaves as they grow up the stem once the fruit starts bearing. Last year we were successful with some sweet peas and some peas growing in this wigwam. Guess what? With a little help from Skimpy and her slug of friends, they're no longer there. Okay, we can live with it. Let's see what else we can do. And right next door, behind the species Gladioli, we've got some more sweet pea. Well, here we are, mid-June, and I'm looking at the square foot garden. Well, what has worked and what hasn't worked so far? The broad beans have not been too successful, with only a few pods on there developing. Not very many of them. I'm not too sure why. There was a few. The onions at the back there are really coming along. The garlic down here seem to be looking good. The French beans, now that's interesting, they're rather yellow. There's one of them over there, it seems to be growing a new batch of rich green leaves, which is good. The leeks have taken on very well. Now this is not one of our successes. Look at this pak choi. As soon as we put it in, it's bolted. That's a shame. And over here we have some more broad beans, which have flowers on it. Now, as I'm standing here, there's a general buzz of bees, and if I can catch them, on video, that would be great. But just in the background, there's this pleasant buzz of bee activity. The more the merrier, I say. This is something we don't really pay attention to. The rambling rose, which has a very short flowering season, and I've almost missed it. Oh, I don't know. It's very pleasant this time of year. Once these are out, and you got the fine weather as well. And it's set to be a very warm day today indeed. And here we have, do you remember I was trimming this back earlier on in the year, the hydrangea, and it's just enormous. It grows like topsy, this thing. It's too big a plant for a small garden like this, but it's a pleasant plant to look at. And here on the overcrowded patio is a lot of activity here, and let's just go around and have a look to see what is happening. A little joy here. Here we have the courgettes growing. You've got a couple of courgettes on the way here. What we plan to do is to grow it upwards. This is interesting. It's the first time this thing has flowered or produced something. We've had that for years. These lilies Look at those. Now, that's the the highest number of lilies I've seen. The bay, strawberries, and yes, we have a strawberry growing after all this time. Wow. Let's celebrate. The runner beans. The runner beans have been such a problem this year, mainly because of the slugs. But we've managed to get these things growing now, and they're growing fairly happily up there. And the only way that we can get rid of slugs is by picking them off first thing in the morning, last thing at night. That's the only successful means of getting rid of slugs. And the potatoes over next door to it is rather dishevelled part of the garden. It's growing in the sacks brilliantly well, and once they've died, the foliage has gone back, they'll be ready to have. Here's another area of concern. Sweet peas have been planted again and again and again, and they haven't taken. And just over this one here, absolutely bare, mainly because of cat and slug activity. More rambling rows. And we've pretty well come to the end of the honeysuckle period. The garden at this time of year is alive with insect activity, and as I've already mentioned, there's this background hum of bees, which is wonderful, seeing as we're in the city centre. No, we're near the city centre anyway. I just love the sound of bees. Not only that, there's a lot of hoverfly as well, and on a sunny afternoon we can have just a cloud of insect activity, and I love it. I love it. My pond, which has been neglected somewhat. I just bought a water plant for it, and I've also bought an oxygenator powered by the sun. And here we have the sun shining, and all these bubbles are coming up beautifully. Hey, this looks good. Hey, but we need good sunshine for making it work. good sunshine to make it work. Oh, the sun's gone in and the bubbles are stopping. But look at that. Oh, look at that. It's clearing beautifully. And some of the algae is a bit settled. Oh, that's wonderful. Here's the selfie. I haven't got my camera here, so I've brought out the mobile phone and used the video function on that, which I'll edit into the film anyway. Not as good, but here we go. But it's a case of opportunity. Right, one bag and some ripened berries, loganberries. Well, it's a case of getting them now. I didn't realise they're going to start getting ripe so quickly. So grab them while you can. It was only yesterday I was doing some filming and they were looking ripe, getting towards ripe then. So it happens really ripe quite quickly. Oh, there's another one there. The thing about loganberries, they get ripe very quickly, and there's some you don't exactly see. The only thing about loganberries that I don't like is it's so prickly. I think for the moment there's only a few, but there's loads more to be picked as they ripen off. Okay, leave it there for the moment. Bottom compartment, it'll do. There we go, get my finger out of the way. There's only a few, but by the end of the season there'll be loads in there. It's been warm and sunny, and there's nothing quite so relaxing as sitting by a pond. And since the beginning of the month, I've cleared this pond of all its algae, but still little bits of threads in it. But now I have some air flowing through it and it's oxygenating really nicely. And I've bought 3 plants, some marginal moisture plants. And at the back there's this grassy long one called Buccimus umbraelicus. And towards the front there is a Lysimachia punctata, which is variegated. But it's no good dreaming because there's been a long dry spell and we are desperately in need of water. And probably this is the theme of the last little part of June. Now, I've been looking at the weather forecast and we've got a couple more days of this and it's going to start pouring with rain. Well, that is the hope anyway. Not that I really want it to rain a lot. Long periods of dry weather does bring its problems. And I'll show you why. It's nearly full here, but it's going very, very slowly. And this is the reason why. If you look inside there, it's getting quite low. Well, actually, still half a barrel in there, but it is running down. However, in this one, nearly empty. Look at these loganberries, and they're ripening by the day. Isn't that wonderful? Right ready for picking, and there's a harvest every day. This is an incredible thing. It's only been 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, but cumulatively it adds up. These ripen very quickly indeed, by the hour it seems, and what seems not quite ripe can be overripe the next day. And no matter what you do, when you pick, you keep uncovering more. And you have to look around the bush to see them all. There we go. There's only a small plateful, but there'll be more tomorrow and the next day. Only a small plateful at the moment because I don't have that many bushes. I've just seen some more loganberries. Hang on. That's because I'm crouching down. Some more in the lower levels. So easy to miss. Coming along most favourably are the raspberries, which are ripening quite nicely. They're only these small ones by the looks of it. They were last year, but they seem to grow at the last minute. That's why I'm doing a daily routine of watering. It's by a wall, and walls tend to sort of suck the moisture out the soil, so I've got to be careful about that. Talking about these raspberries, I just noticed over the back here is new shoot. You can see it's got a very green shoot, as opposed to this shoot which is bearing berries now, which is beginning to get a bark. This shoot will be next year's growth. So later on, when we prune back, we'll be keeping these green shoots and cutting these fruit-bearing sticks, canes, away right down to the base. And just next to it, we have here ripening some black currants. Perhaps not quite so in profusion as they were last year, or the year before, but there's still plenty and they're ready to ripen. In a few days we can start picking those as well. This is the good news really, is that this is growing and it hasn't been destroyed yet. Down the bottom there's a couple of flower pots embedded into the peat at the bottom, or the compost, and oh, I've seen there's a snail in there. It's obviously found a happy home there. But we can see here that growing is some, if I can focus in on it, there it is, a cucumber. Hey, one of our successes. Oh, look at this. Hello, is this good news or not? This critter here, where has he gone? Now if he's there, is he going to start laying eggs? I don't know. Is that good news or bad news? I don't know. Here's a good news item. After the ravages of being eaten away, this courgette is fighting back and it's grown some new leaves and it's trying to put forward a flower. And here again we've got a sunken pot to get the water to the roots. Do you remember the runner beans and the ravages I had with them? I just gave up with it, and instead I'm growing corn. So far in the last week they seem to be taking very well indeed. One or two developments here. There are a few broad beans that surprisingly developed on these plants here, very much as it was, and some on the second group of broad beans. There's some growth here as well. Some flowers and blossom that's growing on the French beans. But look at these leeks, and they're thickening up quite nicely. Another moment of celebration as well. Some sweet peas are flowering now, which is quite nice. So next month maybe we'll report a bit more. And if you come out in the evening, these lilies are very heavily scented. And the only broad beans growing in this garden and in the other one are these. I've given up on my broad beans, but these seem to have established themselves, which is really rather good news. And also these might well survive. It's a case of try again.